It's April 17th, I believe. Yeah, April 17th. I've only killed one bird here in Georgia, so I'm gonna try to tag out this morning. I hadn't hunted in a few days. Last time I hunted, I took Eli, went up to a piece of property, a county north of us, and man, we got in there close on the roost, just didn't make it happen. But I came over this morning to a piece of property a little close to my house. I've got permission on, and it's rolling cattle farms. Killed a lot of birds over here. There's a video up on the YouTube channel of Ethan's bird he killed out here last year, and so it's a pretty farm, a lot of birds. But I'm gonna try to come out here. I came out here opening morning, heard a lot of birds on the property around us, which is kind of normal. Seems like the birds will end up coming in this field, and it's a couple hundred acres rolling hard, pasture fields and some hardwoods on it, stuff like that. And so normally the birds like to come out here, strut around, especially by mid-morning. So I'm gonna see what happens. I know Ethan missed a bird out here earlier in the season, and so I'm gonna see what I can come up with. But just had a turkey, a gobbler that never made a sound, fly right here within 70 yards. I hadn't made a sound yet this morning. I was going to let the birds hit the ground first. And he fed, but acted skittish. You can see him in the camera. That just threw me for a loop, but I've heard 4 gobblers already this morning. And I don't know if that was a different gobbler, but the same one that just gobbled over the hill. I'm going to stay in here tight. I'm going to start calling and see what happens. Just tagged out in Georgia and did it on a piece of property we've killed so many birds on. We hadn't had any luck on it this year, hadn't hunted as much, had other places to go. Birds just hadn't been, as crazy as it sounds, as active, I guess you could say, over here. And I came back, hadn't been back here since opening morning, which was right at 3 weeks ago now. And I get in here this morning and 4 different birds are hammering. I had one, you can see his field. I come in up here off this hill this morning, and when I stood up there on that hill, a turkey gobbled back in this wood line back in here. They're not that close to the field, it didn't sound like. So I just took my time, come down in here. As I'm getting here, I'm trying to figure out where to set up. You can see it's a wide open field with nothing. I brought one feeding hen decoy. And you got this brush pile. This is like a little embankment right here. Used to be a pond out here. So I came in here, brought this chair, and sit down right in here. Had a great backdrop, just don't have a whole lot of visual in front of me as far as something to hide behind. So birds gobbling back over here, birds gobbling deep in here, birds gobbling up there on the hill, and another one sounded like he was a little bit deeper. Well, this bird, first bird this morning, flies down and lands right, there's the decoy. The turkey lands about right here, just out of the frame of the camera where I had it sitting. And talking about throwing me for a loop. That threw me for the biggest loop this morning. A lot of times on this piece of property, the birds will fly down on private and then work their way over to what we have permission on here. I mean, they've flown down the fields before, don't get me wrong, but it's just not, it don't happen very often. Well, I definitely didn't expect that. So that first longbeard actually flew down into this field. Like, he might, when he first hit the ground, he might have been in shotgun range, inside that 50-yard range. And anyway, hits the ground, and then he skirts right around the decoy. Like that tree right there, 65. That tree right there is 65 yards from my setup. I ranged it this morning. Highly recommend getting a rangefinder, especially on field turkeys. Find something. Decoy was at 27. That was at 65. There was a stump somewhere right out in here that I had ranged. It was 54. And so I just found something, ant mound. Anyway, this bird walks off, goes up the hill. I can't move, I'm froze. I mean, you can just imagine, even though that may look camouflage, I'm afraid to move a muscle. And so, bird walks off up the hill, and that's when I flipped the camera around and kind of said, what happened? Well, turkeys were still gobbling, so I started calling. I did a few series of yelps, clucked. Turkey hammered, cut me off. They had 2 hens with them. This bird, I'm pretty sure, this bird come from back over behind me, flew in the field, went up this hill, met this other longbeard that was gobbling. They both come down here. The other longbeard was one that was vocal. They both come down in here. You talking about taking your time? Oh my gosh! But something was skittish. I don't feel like it was the decoy. I've never had a turkey really act skittish on these feeding hen, especially these avian decoys. But they get down in there, and when they get to that tree right there, I know, okay, they're 65 yards, and they just keep coming, and finally he looked like he was in that 50-yard range, and he had to be 27. Actually, it was about 45 yards, so that thankfully judged that just right. But my gun, I have it up on knee because I'm using friction calls, and so I was calling, and I just got the gun in reposition because I didn't know if those birds were going to hang up, and I was going to continue to call. So this is normally how I do. I sit down, I bring these chairs a lot of times, just comfortable. I'm used to carrying it. I'll take my vest off, lay it next to me. Which of course this morning, we had the thermostat going. But you see, I just laid out a couple of calls I thought I might use. That trough call, I jakey up on it and that's it. Other than that, I was just going to soft call back and forth with a couple of slate calls. This morning was all I was going to do. So anyway, that was good enough to pull that long beard and that hen. Well, it was good enough to pull him back down in here. And the one that first came out in the field, he came down the hill first. And you could tell he was skittish. He's like, something just didn't look right when I first hit the field. And so anyway, the second one, he's got some pretty good hooks on him. I'll show you here in a second. But he come down here, man. It's fantastic middle of April hunt right here. And there's still more birds. You got that bird. So I know Dad and Eli have both still got to get a turkey. So we're gonna see if we can make it happen between here and some pieces of property. Father-in-law's wanting to get him a bird, of course, and my brother-in-law, my wife's younger brother, trying to get him his first turkey before the season's over with. Between that and baseball, it's been tough, but we're gonna try to make it happen. We'll get packed up here and I'll show you this bird. Alright, just got back to the truck. Like I said, pretty good bird. I'd say a 3-year-old. Looks like some inch spurs. Yeah, that's what spurs on. Maybe just an 8-inch beard. Pretty short beard. He's gobbling good. Not that much. These right here have been fantastic this year. This is the Apex Greenleaf 9 and 10 mix. Mossberg SA20 burst fast fire. Hey, I rigged up this little Sony Handycam I've got. Ignore the white zip ties. I ran out of black. I didn't get to use it this morning, so hopefully if I get to go with somebody else, let them shoot my gun, see if we can't make that happen. That thing should be better than a Tacticam. It's not 4K, but the zoom quality and everything like that should be really good, so I've been excited to use it, but hadn't had the chance. So, but yeah, this is kind of that farm. You can see it's just wide open. Wide open. I don't think that's a turkey. No, that's a lamb. I was going to zoom in. I got a little bit of an audience. But yeah, great morning. Probably fixing to go find my dad, maybe even father-in-law. They work together, so we'll see what happens.